afternoon, fans of rather detailed shop videos. It's James from the Fit RV, and actually I went back and checked. This is going to be the 9th one of these, and I told myself I wasn't going to make any more than 10, so welcome to the penultimate Building the Fit RV shop video. And it may be a while before you actually see this clip live because I'm stuck on a part that's taken me kind of a while to get through. We'll see that later. First, let me catch you up on what's been done since the last video. First, cabinets. I've got them all sort of painted now. So I got them painted with that red milk paint, and then I put a coat of clear varnish on them. Now, there's some more back here. It would have been a lot easier to do, like, had I done it before installing cabinets, but remember, I was impatient to get things put away. So that's project number 1 completed. Second thing I got complete is the extra electrical work. I wanted to run 120 volt outlets over here by the drill press. Bam, got that done. And I also wanted some back here, although I don't know if I said it, but some back here by my miter saw station. And that's run. So there we go. 2 done. 3. Remember they installed my new super cool garage doors, but they had left the bottom panel as metal? Well, can you see it? There we go. We got that fixed. Those are glass now all the way. It's even more light in here. In fact, it's 33% more light. And I love it. Let's see. And I also installed, you probably can't see them here, some thresholds on the bottom so I'm not crunching the edge of that plywood as I roll things in and out of here. So, been a little busy, but now I'm on a project that's taken me a while. Let me show you that one. Okay, so in one of the earlier videos, I was like wrapping post, kind of like this one here. And I made a crack about like, oh, most of the other post wrapping videos you see on the internet, they're doing it wrong. And what I did with that was I bought myself a whole bunch of trouble because what I really want to do now is to wrap this beam. I don't know if you can see it up there. This beam with wood. And in a lot of ways, that's going to be kind of the same sort of deal, but in some very key ways, it's not. So the main thing is that this beam is holding 2 cars and 9 bicycles over my head. And so in theory, the top of the beam should be in compression and the bottom in tension. And I should be able to drill holes right in the middle of the beam, like to screw something or mount something in. 2 cars over my head, I'm not going to do that. Not only that, but this is it's sort of a weird beam. It's not really an I, it's like a T-beam, and then they've welded some flanges on the top. It's kind of strange. But I need to get something up there that I can mount a piece of wood to. So what I've decided to do is put in some blocking, and I'm doing that with adhesive. So it's kind of a long process, but what I do is I take some small pieces of pressure-treated 2x4, and I use pressure-treated because there's some evidence that there was water on that beam at one time, and I don't know if that might ever happen again. So some pressure-treated 2x4, and I cut little short lengths to fit underneath that flange on the top of the beam because I don't want to have to deal with that. And then I'm using a polyurethane construction adhesive, a little spritz of water on the beam because it's non-porous, and then I put it up there to cure. Now, I leave it up there for 24 hours. You can see right now I've got some in clamps that are up there, and they're ready to come down. They're dry. I leave it up for 24 hours because that's what it says on the label. And, not only that, it's a polyurethane adhesive, and all of them that I know of, they kind of foam a little bit while they cure. And so that I don't want it to push that away from the beam any, because it's a great length when you see what I do for the rest of it. So after that, that'll come down, and then what I do is I take another short length of 2x4 and I just kind of screw it on to the front of that. And basically that brings it flush to the edge of the beam. But it's like a 2-day process to get all that done. And these are how many I have left to do. See over there? I'm not even like halfway done, and I've been at this for like 4 or 5 days because I can only do 4 at a time. See, these giant C-clamps here, I've made it all my life without needing giant 8-inch C-clamps. And so I only bought 4 of them because I didn't want any more than that. So it's slow going, but basically it's really strong. Like when the glue dries, I can do pull-ups off of those little 2x4 bits there. And so, and then the other piece of 2x4 is actually resting on the bottom ledge of the I guess it's an I-beam, on the bottom ledge of the I-beam. So that glue is not really even in shear. It's more like it's just in tension. It would have to pull straight off of the wall because that other 2x4 won't. Anyway, it'll be super strong, but it's just taking me forever. So I got another, I don't know, a week or so of doing stuff here on this beam, and then we'll come back and get to wrap it. Okay, welcome back. It's been like a couple weeks, and there's been a whole lot of this action going all the way down both sides of that beam. I don't know if you can see that. I'll take a close-up shot of it. So there's been a lot of that going on, but there's also been a little bit of this going on, and this is basically what the beam is going to look like when I'm done. Now, I had originally wanted like one long cedar plank, 40 feet long and 13 inches wide on each side, but that's like buying a whole tree. It's ridiculously expensive. So I came up with a way to use Grody Home Center pine. I've got some of the pine here, pine, and then I can actually make it look reasonably like the cedar, which I've done there. And I'm doing it in sections because I've got these natural breaks where I can stop and do things. Now the procedure for doing it is much the same as when I built the post wraps that I have. But the one thing I do want to point out is that I am using the lock miter bit. And so here on the corners, we don't have like boards butted up to each other where you can see the edges of the boards. It gives the illusion of a continuous piece of wood all the way around. So I've got, well, that took me like 3 days to do that, and then I've got another 3 sections, so another 9 days of effort here. So I'll finish those and then we'll check back after that. Okay, I'm back, and check it out. Lots of wrapped up beam action. Now, I'm not gonna kid you, this took me kind of a long time. In fact, there was a whole RV trip to Colorado wrapped up in the time it took me to get these done. But they're done, they look pretty good, and I have no worries at all that they're gonna fall down on me or anything like that. So now, I'm turning my attention to wrapping the posts. These guys. Just making 4 pieces of wood and putting them on there, the thickness of the post was such that the box wouldn't close up. So in order to get that to work properly, I've had to do, I'll try to show you this, maybe I'll B-roll it. I've had to do this cool thing where I made this big kind of a dished cut, like a cove, in the middle of each of these boards. And the way you do that is by jamming things kind of sideways through the table saw. It's really kind of interesting, but it worked out great. And I've got all 12 of the boards I'm gonna need prepped, and so now it's just time to slap them up there. So let's get at it. All right, so check it out. We're done. And that actually really wasn't that bad to do. Once I had all the pieces cut, they basically just, put a little bead of construction adhesive in that cove, and then just sort of slapped them up. I did glue the corners here where the 2 pieces of wood come together so that they would make a nice post-looking thing. But other than that, we just kind of put them together around the posts, and it took a lot of clamps, but they're done. And I also did, I don't know if you can see these up here. These are more really just a visual distraction than they are anything structural. They are to distract you from the fact that there's 2 different sets of boards between there, and you don't really pay attention to that now. Making these was actually pretty easy. I just got a 6 pieces of steel plate that wasn't too terribly expensive, and then drilled some holes in it on my awesome drill press. That thing just smoked the holes. It was easy as can be. And then, these are not very long of lag bolts to just kind of hold them up there. And there they are. So, quick look around, but that's sort of what I did over the last couple days. Next, it's time to start putting the electrical down the sides of the pole. So on this side of the pole, I will have some electrical coming down. This will be the 240 side. The other side will be the 120 side. So that's kind of next. See you later. Okay, and we're back, and this is going to be like the last little segment for this video, but as promised, I ran drops for the electrical down these poles. Now on this side, it's the 220 side, and the other side over here is the 120 side. Now, I put these outlets kind of low. I don't know if you can see them way down there. I put them kind of low because I'm kind of trying to cluster the machines around the poles because I couldn't move the poles. Trying to cluster the machines around the poles. And so, they're going to get plugged in once and they're just going to get kind of left there. I'm not going to be unplugging and plugging. So the great news about that is that now I no longer have to lug around a big giant extension cord in order to run any of my large machines. So, okay, electrical run. The next thing I did is I took care of this workbench I had over here. This is going to be where I do like crap with metal, like grinding or filing or something messy. It's going to put metal shards all over the place. So the top that was on there was just kind of junk. It was like a piece of 1/2 inch MDF. So now it's 2 layers of 3/4 inch MDF. And on top of that, I have laminated a sheet of stainless steel. I got this for just like 40 bucks. I found a remnant at a steel fabricator guy. He gave it to me for 40 bucks. Awesome. So that top is on. It's pretty solid, and I've been able to bolt my vise down now, thank goodness. And then finally, over here, I made this thing. I don't know if you can see that very well because I'm kind of pointing into the garage doors, but this is kind of just surrounding my, my flammable paint cabinet, and then that's kind of where all my finishing supplies are. But the big news is that doing that cabinet allowed me to get rid of 3 boxes that had been piled up in here for just the longest time. So there we go. Now, I had some problems with this. I wanted to build like a nice cabinet and then kind of push it in there, but due to this up here and then these, there was no way to like build something this tall and then slide it into place. And there's also electrical and plumbing back behind it, so I kind of had to just build it in place. So it's all just screwed together, which means I could take the whole thing completely apart in like 10 minutes. So cool. So anyway, I got rid of those 3 boxes, which means there are only 3 boxes left from the move. Those 3 boxes contain parts to the dust collection system, and so that should give you some sort of clue as to what's going to be in the next video, the 10th and final shop building video. It'll be coming next time. See you later. Bye.